We're talking about persistence. We're talking about persistence, everybody. In fact, a lot of times when I go out of town, I will have Dave cover the topic for me, but this is my topic. Persistence is my topic. This is not even something, I don't know if Dave's still on. Dave can't even speak to this. He doesn't even know. Dave, God bless him, most of his life has had like a very charmed existence. Like, oh, I think I'll go into this thing. And, someone came down from on high and was like, oh my gosh, you're so smart. You're so charming. Let's just give you this job. Like, he's just had the most blessed existence when it comes to career because he is super smart, because he is super charming, because he's a hard worker. But the whole idea of persistence is that you're pursuing something and you want to give up. You're pursuing something and you fail. You're pursuing something and you fall. You're in the middle of trying to get something, personally or professionally, and then you fall down. Persistence is, can you stand back up? Persistence is, how do I keep going? What I'm curious about is how many of you feel like this is something you struggle with? How many of you are struggling with standing back up? How many of you are struggling with staying on track, continuing to pursue the thing? And here's what I want to ask you today. I need a drink of coffee. Here's what I want to ask you today, really, truly. We've got about, 5,000 people watching live. More will watch us over the course. Just hear this question, because this question, this can shift everything for you. Where would you be right now if you had not given up? And you know what I'm talking about. When I say if you had not given up on that thing, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's your health journey. Maybe it's that business you wanted to start. Maybe it's school. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's something that you were pursuing for yourself. Where would you be right now if you hadn't given up? And I'm not talking about the things that we walked away from because they were healthy, because we needed to walk away. I'm talking about the things that you know in your heart. You know in your heart your Creator gave you the potential to do this thing and you gave up on it. Maybe you gave up on it over and over and over again. And I don't ask you that question. I don't call you out in that way to have you feel shame, because shame doesn't serve us. Shame is not getting you anywhere. You beating yourself up like, oh, you're right, I did. I walked away. It's my fault. I knew it, blah, blah, blah. You beating yourself up in that way isn't doing anything for you. Isn't doing anything for you but keeping you stuck. That mental beat up that you do in your head, knock it off. We got stuff to do. We don't have time for that. So I want you to ask yourself that question. Where would you be right now if you hadn't given up? Years ago, I met with a nutritionist. Actually, when I lived here in LA, I met with this nutritionist, and I don't know if any of you have this as a style of your eating, but I would eat really healthy. I would eat really healthy, and then I had one thing that would throw off everything for me. Swear. Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its would throw off everything for me. I would eat salads and lean protein. I'm doing so great. And then I'd get home and I'd be hungry, or I'd get home and I'd be stressed. And I love Cheez-Its. Oh, I would open a box of Cheez-Its. I'd eat half the box. And I kept telling myself, it's just not a big deal. It's just Cheez-Its. If I'm eating well, then 95% of the time, and then 5% of the time I'm blowing it because I'm splurging on this, delicious cheesy cracker, it's fine. But she challenged me. Kelly Levesque, I've had her on the podcast. She's an awesome person. She challenged me and she said, Rachel, where would you be if you could take back all the Cheez-Its? I know that sounds funny, but go with me for a second, because you all have your own version of Cheez-Its. Where would you be? She's like, how many times do you think that you went and binged on crackers this week? I'm like, 4. She's like, okay, so, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, plus every time that you ate the Cheez-Its and then it sort of made you feel like you had fallen off the wagon, so you may as well have some cream cheese, and you may as well have some cake, and you may as well get some ice cream too. Where would you be right now if you could take back that thing? And it was so powerful for me because then every time, swear to you, every time I'd go to grab that box out of the shelf, I'd hear her voice in my head saying, where would you be if you could take this back? Where would you be if you could even just cut in half how often you're going to this thing to deal with stress? So what I want to ask you is, where would you be if you hadn't given up? And I've seen some of you writing, like, I would be healthy, I would be 30 pounds lighter, my business would be further, I would have a bigger team, I would have achieved those goals, I would have written a book. Where would you be? Like, seriously, you guys, tell me. Be honest right now. Let's be in an authentic conversation. Be honest with yourself. Where would you be? Like, what's the thing that you gave up on? And where would you be if you had not given up on the dream? If you haven't, someone said, what's a Cheez-It? Are you from another country? It's a little cheesy cracker. It's delicious. Don't even try one. Definitely don't try the Tabasco ones because those are the best. R.I.P. chocolate Oreo shake. I would be a nurse. Oh, I would be a nurse. I would have more confidence. What else? What else would we be? I would be a pediatrician. Not tired from all the junk. I would get rid of type 2 diabetes. 140 pounds. I would have run a marathon by 30. 40 pounds lighter. Still working on my nursing. Friends, you want to know what motivation is? Listen to me. You want to know what motivation is? I got so fired up I made both of them fall. Oh my gosh. Okay, you're coming from down low now. Oh.
Nick J, Tinashe, it's the remix.
Oh, I got a little Nick Jonas.
I don't like the way he's looking at you.
Oh my gosh, I give James so much crap for messing up the technology, and I just did the biggest mess up of technology in the history of the Start Today morning show. Not only did both the phone and the iPad and the computer holding them up fall, but also then Nick Jonas started to play, which feels like I couldn't have choreographed that if I wanted to. Oh my gosh. Here's what I was going to say. You want to know what motivation is? Motivation is a strong enough why. Motivation is you are so passionate about this thing that you want for your life that you will fight, you will stand up, you will go again because you want that thing more than you're willing to stay here in this discomfort. That's what it looks like. That's what motivation is. And when you're telling me all these things, you're saying, I'm really mad. Why is the devil trying to keep me from this conversation today? I just want to share the good word. Okay, hold on. I think they're going to stay up this time. Okay, here we go. Oh, they're sliding. Oh, David, he's not even here. I need the big guy here. Okay, wait, hold on. I got it. She's got it. Sort of. It's not going to be a perfect image, guys, but just go with me because this topic is important. What is the thing in your life that you need to stand back up? What is the thing in your life that you need to keep going? And what is it? Like, why when you know? Okay, hold on. Tell me, for those of you, you're like, I could have been a nurse. I could have gotten rid of my type 2 diabetes. I could have been 40 pounds lighter. I could have run a marathon. I could have written a book. Right now, people are watching this. Those are your truths. What's stopping you? What's stopping you? You could have been a nurse. Why aren't you in nursing school? You could have gotten rid of your diabetes. Why aren't you getting rid of your diabetes? Like, tell me truthfully. What is holding you back? What, you've got responsibilities now? All of us have responsibilities. Oh, you're not connected? I wasn't connected. You know so many people are not connected. So many people do not have money. So many people have to work a full-time job and then pursue the thing that they want to pursue. So many people are out there living in opposition of the excuses that you keep making for yourself. Someone said, I keep breaking my promise to myself. Someone's read, girl, wash your face. There's a chapter in that book about not breaking promises to ourselves. We keep a promise to everybody else. We show up for everybody else, but we break the things we say we'll do to ourselves. So if you could have been, why aren't you right now? Why aren't you? Could have been a dancer, could have been a nurse, could have been debt-free, could have been a business person, could have been an author. You're alive. By the grace of God, you woke up on this beautiful Thursday morning. You opened your eyes, and now you're sitting on a live stream with me. You're sitting on a live stream with me, which means you have access to the internet, which means you have access to a phone, which means you're doing better than 99% of the world's population. Stop lying to yourself. Stop holding on to the excuses. Stop telling yourself why you can't have the thing that you say you want. Because it's not serving you. Feel like I'm too old and I blew it. How old are you? Hold on. Angie Pangy Pudding Pie, which is a fantastic name, a fantastic Instagram name. How old are you? It's going to take you a minute to respond. So let's say you're 50, and based on your photo, I don't think you're that. Let's say you're 50. The average person now is going to live twice that long, even if it's half. I'm still waiting for Angie to tell me how old she is. Like, let's say you're 50 years old, which I know that you're not, and right now you're going to tell me some number, and I'm going to are you kidding me? So let's say you're 50 years old. What if you have 50 more years? What if you have 50 more years on this earth and you're going to wait 54? Well, you look fantastic, Angie. Is that you or is that someone else? Congratulations. So you're 54. So let's say you got 50 more years left. 50 years, and I want you to think of this for a minute real quick, Angie. That means that you are going to be alive for as much as you've already been alive. That means, hear me out, you've got a whole other life coming. You got a whole life. You've lived 54 years on this earth. What if you have 54 more? What if you have 40 more? What if you have 30 more? Crap, what if you only have 2 months? Do you want to spend the rest of your life telling yourself all the things you could have been? There's no such thing as too old. Guys, too old is an excuse. Too young is an excuse. Too poor is an excuse. Too this is an excuse. These are the things that we cling to because they make us feel safe for not being the person that we know we're called to be. You know what I'm talking about. Not everyone's going to get this. But if you're getting this right now, you know it's because you got something on your heart that tells you, I'm supposed to be more. I'm supposed to be somebody else. There's a person in here. I'm supposed to serve my community. I'm supposed to show up for my kids. I'm supposed to build this business. I'm supposed to get us out of debt. But we're over here sitting talking about all the reasons that we can't be what we say we want to be. Persistence is standing back up. Listen to me. There is no reason that I should be where I am today. None. Got a high school education, not connected, grew up without money, had no idea what I was doing, had no business experience. I built a multi-million-dollar company. We now have 32 full-time employees and a bunch of open heads. We are killing it in business. That business, I taught myself reading books from the library because I couldn't even afford to buy a book. That business, I taught myself watching YouTube videos. That business that I own, that I built, I learned in podcast interviews. I learned by research. I learned by volunteering my time for other business professionals so I could learn how to do this better. I learned by being humble. I learned by being hungry. And you don't think I failed? In the last 15 years, do you know how many times I failed? Do you know how many times I fell? Do you know how many times I wasted money? Do you know how many times I cried because I didn't know how I was going to make payroll? Do you know how many freaking times? And the difference between me and you, the difference between me and everybody else who wanted this and doesn't have it, I don't give up. I don't give up. I keep standing back up. I keep showing up for my life. And part of it is, I just never knew there was another way to be. I really just never knew that any life existed besides a hard one. So when I felt like life was punching me in the face, I was like, yeah, must be Tuesday. Must be Saturday. I always thought that this was how it was going to be. So when I failed, it didn't faze me. I was like, great, I learned something. Let's go. Let's keep going. I've talked about this before, but those of you who are drowning in this fear of failure, oh, I failed, and they watched me fail, and that's so embarrassing. No, it's not the failure you don't like. You don't like them seeing you fail. You don't like other people watching you fail. We don't admire the people who had a flash in the pan, who had something quick happen, and they, made a little bit of money, or they were an overnight. That's not who we admire. We admire the people that keep it. We admire the people that keep going. We didn't admire The Rock because he got in one movie. We admire The Rock because he's been in 50 movies. Because 20 years later, he's still working as hard to up his game. How many times do you think he's failed? How many times do you think, by the way, we focus on the good stuff. We focus on the hits. We focus on the things that really work. I don't know why I'm using The Rock today. We focus on Jumanji. We focus on Fast and the Furious. We don't remember, what was the movie where he was like a babysitter and he was wearing a tutu? Like, we can't even remember. Remember that movie he made 2 years ago where he had like a pet gorilla? He was running around the world with a pet gorilla. Even The Rock has failures. Still today. You don't see him crying about it. You see him putting a freaking chain around his neck and doing a push-up. Because this is life. This is persistence. You want to have a life that's exceptional? You got to keep standing back up. You got to keep going. Stop telling yourself you failed once. God, talk to me when you failed 100 times. The pacifier, thank you. The tooth fairy. There. The pacifier might be the other bald guy. Also in Fast and the Furious. So tell me, dude, what's your deal? Right now, tell me. Why are you staying down? Someone give me some truth right now. You want to do the thing, but you're struggling to stand back up. You want to do the thing, but you're nervous about what people will think. It's hard for you to have the persistence. It's hard for you to keep going. For me, while you guys write me your thoughts on this or your questions about it, for me, persistence is a habit. It's a habit. I refuse to stay down, and because I refuse to stay down, I am so used to standing back up. I am so used to okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Find a way. Anything. Marie Forleo has a book coming out this year. You guys need to get so fired up about it. Coming out in the fall called Everything is Figure Outable. Everything is figure outable. And if that's the truth, and I believe that it is, then there's no reason we need to stay on the ground. There's no reason that we can't pursue the thing. Does this apply to getting out of anxiety? This applies to anything. I used to suffer from debilitating anxiety attacks. Debilitating. And there's an episode of the podcast, the Rise podcast, if you want to scroll back and find the episode where I talk about how I dealt with my anxiety. But it involves therapy, and it involves work, and it involves persistence. But there's an episode of the podcast if you want to go listen to it. Someone said, I actually get this a lot. Someone just said, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. And I have women say this to me a lot. And I'll be like, okay, well, what are you doing with your time? And women in the audience will be like, well, I work full time, and then I have 2 kids, and I do and they'll describe all of these things, and they're like, but then when I do have, an hour or 2 here and there, I'm just like, I'm so tired, I just end up laying around on the couch and watching Netflix. And I'm like, you're not lazy, you're exhausted. You're not lazy, you're burnout. If you are lazy, meaning I just hang out, I have the energy, but I'm just not inclined to in any way, that is totally different than I am so tired, I cannot get myself to move. I am so tired, I don't have the will. I'm burnout, which I know a lot of you are dealing with burnout. Let's see. The questions are about persistence. Ooh, I like this question. Hold on. So Lisa just said, why can't the universe throw me a bone so I have hope that, yes, it will get in better instead of one blow after another? Hey, Lisa, all the love in my heart. The universe has your back, but all you're looking for are the things that are wrong. You've decided that this is your reality. You've decided that the universe is out to get you. You've decided that it's never going to take care of you. You've decided that only negative things come your way. And when we have decided something, it is our truth. Well, if you guys have ever seen me write down in my Start Today journal, you'll see that I write down in the journal, I am the most positive person I know. I write that down in my journal every day. Do you know why? Because I'm not the most positive person you know. I wake up in the morning, and most mornings I open my eyes and I immediately start to think about all the things that are going wrong in the business, all the things that I need to do, all the things that I need to worry about. Are the kids okay? Are the employees okay? Is the community okay? Oh, we got to write that thing. Oh, I got Rise next week. I write down positivity. I reach for positivity because I am crafting my mind. This is not in charge of me. I am in charge of me. This voice in my head, she's not going to run me. You're being run by a voice in your head that says that the world is out to get you. There is beauty in this world. There is joy in this world. There are good things coming at you in this world, but you are on the lookout for the negative, and so that's what you see. The other thing that I'm going to say is the Lord helps those who help themselves. Can I get a witness? The Lord helps those who help themselves. Stop sitting around waiting for the universe or God or whoever to hook you up. Start taking care of yourself. My entire childhood was one big kick in the face. My entire childhood was the universe and God, if I wanted to look at it like that. My entire childhood was an example of the world is hard, the world is mean, bad things happen, and I stood back up and I kept going. Because I refuse to let that narrative run my life. And you need to decide right now that you are going to change the world. You are not going to wait for the world to change you. You are letting life live you. You are supposed to be living life. And if you are living life, my friends, then you are in control of your outlook on what happens in your day. If you are in charge of your life, if you are taking ownership of your life in this day, then you are in control of how you view the world around you. Come on, guys. You know this stuff. You know this in your heart. The reason that we don't stand back up, you want to know what it is? It's hard. It's hard to stand back up. It's hard to keep going. It's hard. It's more comfortable over here. It's more comfortable having a drink. It's more comfortable watching TV for 3 hours. It's more comfortable scrolling Instagram. It's more comfortable complaining about why your life sucks instead of doing something to make it different. It's more comfortable to sit in mediocrity and not do anything to change. It's more comfortable to keep on those 30 pounds. It's more comfortable, you've got the diabetes, but to get rid of it, you know the amount of work that you would have to do. It's easier to do the quick fixes than it is to do the thing that's going to change your life forever. You want a different life? You're going to have to work in a different way. You're going to have to fall in love with the process. You're going to have to fall in love with the process. It's extremely hard. It's tough. It's tough to change your life. But you know what? You're tough. You're capable of anything. You were not meant to stay here. You were not meant to keep living this same day over and over and over for the next 50 years and calling it a life. You were meant to make change. You were meant to reach for more. You were meant to stop being thrown off by other people seeing you fail. You were meant to keep going. Stand back up again and again and again until standing up is more normal for you than laying down. Standing up is more normal than staying on the floor. You bounce right back. I used to have this notebook when I was a little girl that said, success is not how high you fly. Success is how high you bounce. So bounce back. Bounce back. Say it with me, wherever you are. Bounce back. Write it down on a Post-it today. Make it the screensaver on your phone. Some of you need to hear this right now. Some of you need to bounce back. And not just one time. Because chances are, if you've fallen, you're going to fall again. Expect it. Anticipate it. Be okay with the failure, because the failure is the only way that you're going to grow into the person that you want to be. Guys, I love you. And more than that, I believe in what you are capable of. Keep going. Persistence looks like you keep going. I didn't have my notebook today because I am in a different state, but if you want to get the PDF for book club, this was part of book club. I know I didn't talk about the book one time. I just talked about the topic, which is persistence. My new book, Girl Stop Apologizing. Grab the PDF on our website. You can get it through a link in Instagram or on Facebook, and I will have Dave pick the winner. I'll have him pick the winner and post it onto Instagram today. But if you want to win an autographed copy of the new book, all you have to do is take a photo of today's session, of your Girl Stop Apologizing book, of your PDF, and do hashtag the GSA Club. Put it over on Instagram so we can see. We choose a new winner every single day. You got this, guys. You got this. You really do. Now go prove to yourself that it's true. Have a great Thursday.